Good morning, everyone. We are here today to talk about NGO management and especially about strategic planning and the importance that strategic planning has for the management of your NGO. The video is part of a series of tutorials that go to complete the preparation that was given to the participants of the project of euroasi, but as usual for the other documents and materials that are provided by TDM International, it's also open to everyone that needs more information and preparation of planning and managing the NGO. So let's start with a small introduction and telling a little story related to our youth NGO. Usually when I do these kind of trainings, I always give you also a lot of theory, and what I wanted to tell you today immediately is that very often one thing is the theory and another thing is the reality. So when we do trainings, we say we need to understand which are the basics to establish an NGO. We have to decide how to build it, who we are, what we want to achieve, and so on. But in the reality, sometimes often NGOs are established I don't want to say by chance, but by a combination of things that occur at the same time. And that was what happened more or less when we created our own NGO. We didn't have a plan. We didn't have a strategic plan. We didn't start deciding which strategy we wanted to give to our NGO. No, we just started our NGO because we wanted to have fun, to meet people from other countries, and to give opportunity to Sardinian people to go abroad and to get in touch with other peers from other countries. We usually find a way and we say, why do we need NGOs? What is the role of the NGOs in the local community, in the reality where they are working? And we say one of the things is that we help developing culture and art, for example, or we work to protect the environment or to protect the rights of the people, to promote pluralism, diversity and tolerance, to protect cultural, ethnic, religious, linguistic and other identities, to offer services that are not provided by state agencies or to complete services that are provided by these state agencies and make them more flexible, for example. But as I was saying just 1 minute ago, not always is like this, and our reasons for creating our own NGO were that we wanted to have fun, to make new friends, to help, as I said, young Sardinians to feel Europe closer, to make our culture be more known around Europe, giving opportunity to travel to people that don't have this opportunity, given to the fact that they don't have, for example, enough money, or they didn't have the chance because of lack of education and because they didn't have the opportunity to learn languages and so on. So this was the primary idea of our work. We didn't have a plan. But we started to feel the need to have a plan as soon as we started to grow. We started growing, we started to have an impact at local level. We started to have activities that were more effective. So we felt the need of this plan as soon as we understood that our activities that we were having at local level were giving some effects and were becoming relevant for the development of our community, and they were also giving an answer to the needs that were expressed by the local community. And we created our mission based on what we wanted to do for our local reality. So we wrote something similar to what is written here. We want to support personal and professional development of young people by opening their minds to diversity and to intercultural learning. As you can see, it's not very different from what we were doing at the real beginning, helping young people from Sardinia to move from the island, to get to know new cultures, to understand that their culture is not the only one, to make them more open-minded. So this was our mission. And as I said, to comply with our mission, we needed also to create a plan. We had to create a strategy in order to achieve our mission. So let's now try to understand what we mean by planning and to define immediately what is a plan. And we can say that a plan is a mix of thoughts, processes, actions that are agreed in the present to do something that will happen in the future. And indeed, a strategic plan that also comes from a plan. It's again a process that implies decisions and implies also the fact that we are agreeing on actions that will shape and guide what our organization is, what it does, and why it does it. So there are several reasons why we say that we need a strategic plan. Let's see some of these reasons. Think and create actions around the focus of the organization. Also, reinforce the team building. When we are thinking of our strategy, we are creating the actions through which we want to achieve our goals. Also, having a plan discussed among the team members, among the board members, and among other relevant stakeholders will help also to strengthen the team building of the organization, to make us more close to each other and to understand also the added value of each of us. To develop plans collaborating with our partner organization, with other stakeholders, because very often is recommended to develop the plan together also with other partners, with beneficiaries, target group, in order that they can also give certain opinions about the possibility to develop our plan. Also, having the plan, it helps us to monitor the process of our actions, what we are doing, and how we are going to achieve, if we are proceeding in the right way or not. And also it helps in understanding if we are using in a proper way all the resources that we have available. And talking about resources, we refer especially to human resources or financial resources. Putting together all these things, monitoring, agreeing, discussing, evaluating together will help in understanding where to put the resources that we have, therefore how to assess the budget, and having our activities more realistic and effective. Now, we can ask also which time period should cover our plan. Usually we say that a strategic plan should go from like 3 years, but there is no one strategic plan for everyone. We don't have medicines for all, so strategic plan for everyone, no. Each organization has to create a strategic plan according to its values, mission, vision, the people that have in the organization, the stakeholders they are working with, the target group they're referring. So there is no one receipt for all of us, but all of us can take into consideration some specific elements that are useful for everyone, and I will tell you very soon. Just a few things you have to take into consideration: knowing who you are, knowing what will bring change, because you can also decide that you have a mission in your organization. So the vision stays, but sometimes according to the change that you are in the reality, maybe you can also change your plan. The strategy of your organization in order to achieve your goals have to be changed according to what is happening around you. And also you have to take into consideration the strategy, especially if you do it for 5 years, you have to understand where the society and you will be in 5 years' time. Another suggestion that I can give you is to always consider your capacity in a honest way. Don't overestimate your capacity, but not even underestimate. Be honest with yourself, making an analysis of what you can achieve, who you will be in a certain time. That's why also it's really relevant sometimes, and for certain organizations, but especially for this reason that things are changing and are not stable, to complete your strategic plan with an operational plan that instead of being of 3-5 years, it's a shorter one. So a strategic plan completed by a work plan for 1 year is the most effective strategy that you can have in your organization. Usually it's for 12 months. Again, another suggestion is that the strategic plan should be written. What we were doing in our organization before we decided to have a strategy was already having a strategy. The problem is that, not the problem, but the difference is that it was not written, it was not known, we were not aware of the fact that it was already a plan. For us, it was just what we wanted to do. It was a plan, but it was not written, and this was not allowing us to monitor what we were doing. So it's important, for all the things that I already told you, that we also write down what we want to achieve and how, with whom, through what, with actions, which actions, in order that we can also monitoring the process. And here there are some other important elements. Written, it's because help us to understand where to allocate the resources, for example. Also, written helps keeping the track of what we are doing, ensures accessibility by everyone. It's accessible by our team members, by members that enter in the organization and were not participating to the creation of the strategy. Helps in continuity with the staff, indeed. And also it can be the basis for the annual plan and for the budget. Now I would like to give you some tips to make a successful strategic planning. Please consider a few things that may be useful for you. Consider which kind of expertise and skills the people that you want to involve in the process of planning can bring to the process. Make a list of whom you want to involve in the process itself. Involve and try to motivate also the board members to be part of the strategic planning, volunteers, all the people that work in your organization, and try to take full advantage of their expertise. When planning, try to allocate precisely tasks to each individual. I would recommend also to hold a workshop at the beginning of the process to explain everyone where do you want to go, why you're doing the planning, and also another one at the end when you finished to share the results of what you have been doing. Be clear on the involvement, on the responsibilities and the time and all the, in general, the involvement that it will bring to be part of this process. And agree with all the others on what external inputs might be interesting to include in the process in order to invite relevant people. If the process is going to be very long and if the arguments you want to take into consideration for your planning are a lot, maybe you can consider also to involve a facilitator to help you in preparing the planning. And last thing that I would recommend for all, if your plan is short or long, doesn't matter, but the recommendation is to document all the process. Sometimes when discussing and bringing ideas, there are some notions or some thoughts that might be lost. If somebody is taking tracks, taking notes, you can integrate also afterwards the plan with some thoughts that might be forgotten or they were just passing by. So I hope that this little video was helpful for you and will be helpful for your organizations. And if you want to go deeper in the topic, you can go to our digital library, TDM International Digital Library, and find more information, more documents on the topic. Or you can also watch the other videos for the NGO management that you can find on the web channel of YouTube of TDM 2000 International and on the website of the project euroasi.eu. Thank you for your attention.